Hey, what's up, everybody? So yesterday, Brian Gutekunst's Packers GM went on to Packer Transplants with Corey Benke and Aaron Nagler, and they discussed a lot of very interesting information, and I'll leave the entire video of that discussion with Brian Gutekunst in the description section down below, so you definitely go check it out. But one thing that I did find interesting is that Brian Gutekunst shared that the Packers are in contract talks with both Zach Tom and Quay Walker, both guys who are entering the final year of their deals. It has sounded like in the past that the Packers have been wanting to, get these guys signed to new deals sometime soon. And I want to share now two of the quotes from Brian Gutekunst. Here it is from the show, which I'll leave linked down below. Gutekunst says, "We've had really healthy conversations with Zach about locking him up, and certainly that's something we'd like to do. These things take time, as you know. They never happen very quickly, but confident, obviously. He's been a really good player for us since the time he got here, done everything right by us, and we'd certainly like to make that happen. Hopefully, we'll get there soon." So Zach Tom, being a fourth rounder, has definitely played very, very well. One of the, I would say, better right tackles in the league. He's just been very consistent. Back-to-back years, starting 17 games. He's been very reliable from a just health-wise, not being injured. And I think that's the kind of guy you want to keep around. Someone who's available, someone who's played really, really solid football for you. And I just think with this Packers offensive line, Zach Tom is one of the more important pieces of this offense. He's just been so consistent, and it's hard to find guys like Zach Tom. And if we look at what he could get paid, Spotrac, which measures contracts, predicts him at $21.7 million per year. The highest paid right tackle in the NFL is Penei Sewell at $28 million per year. And they compared some interesting stats, which shows that, at least from this perspective, Penei Sewell has been better overall. Penei Sewell 1 QB hurry allowed per game. Zach Tom 1.41 QB hurries allowed per game. And then Penei Sewell 0.09 QB sacks allowed per game. Zach Tom 0.15 QB sacks allowed per game. So they use that as well as a few other factors and predict Zach Tom at the $21.7 million per year. And I think he'll make more than that. I sort of feel like he could get up to $25 million per year, maybe a few million less than Penei Sewell, which I have no problem with the Packers paying him that kind of money. When you have a very solid tackle, you need to pay them. And so I expect that should get done, hopefully before camp. And then now here's the other quote I want to share. And this one is from Brian Gutekunst on Quay Walker. And here's what he says in the interview, which, as I said, I'll leave a link down below. "My expectations are really, really high, and really the only reason we didn't do the fifth-year option, and I think you guys probably know this, that a lot of the outside linebackers are calculated into that number. So we're going down that road with him as well to see if we can make that happen as well. We've been bullish on Quay since he got here. He's played a lot of really, really good football for us. We think his best football is still ahead of him. He's just consummate pro. He does everything the right way, has a level of toughness and focus that our defense needs." And so I think Quay Walker, he had some time where he was a little bit inconsistent. I do think, though, near the end of last season, before he unfortunately went down with an injury, he was playing really solid football. And there was one quote from Jeff Hafley just discussing about how much better he thought Quay looked and just all the great things he was doing. And one thing about Quay, I mean, he's been very productive, 100 tackles in 3 straight years. Sure, there's been some ups and downs, but it does seem like he's getting better and better. And the Packers sound very confident in him, as well as Brian Gutekunst. And now, of course, the question for him as well is how much money will he make? Because it's probably the hold up, the guarantee money, all that kind of stuff. The fifth-year option that was declined was valued at $14.7 million, which of course is guaranteed. And so I would assume that Quay Walker will get somewhere in the $10 to $15 million per year range. If we do look at the linebacker market, Fred Warner and Roquan Smith are at about $20 and $19 million. I don't think he's at their level, at least at this point. So I'd say closer to $15 million, $10 to $15 million per year probably makes more sense. And it does sound like the Packers plan to keep him around for a while. So I'm totally fine keeping both guys. I think that's a smart decision if you can get him at reasonable costs. Zach Tom, I think, is the priority just because I think he's been more consistent overall, but I think Quay as well has been playing better football. So some interesting comments there. We'll keep an eye on it the rest of the summer. Hopefully we get some kind of news before camp that these deals get done, because I think the sooner you can get them done, the better. just because then, you have security for the future and don't have to go through the season and wonder what could potentially happen. But that's all I have for this one. If you want more Packers content, feel free to subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys next time.